So it's mid 2025. Well, actually, at the later part of the year. Uh, Specifically, there's a reason for this. Time goes by, and I haven't really done much. That's just on me. Now, normally, I wouldn't leave the desktop audio on in the background, but I just thought this is a really nice place to go, and this is the first choice. And I'm not loading up another 200 megabytes. So, what have you been doing? Absolutely nothing. But there are a few things I do want to talk about that's been going on recently. As in. Actually, I don't. Damn, fuck. I've been getting back into VR recently. As you can tell, I just chose. I have a new thingamajig to wear instead of the Ina avatar I had previously, which, don't get me wrong, I liked it. But I don't want that. If that's the thing we're going with, then I don't. No. I would have uploaded more if I actually kept the previous recordings of bullshit that I did, but I realized there's no point. Because I'm not chasing for views and likes and all that. I'm not looking for a grandiose audience that'll be millions of people. No, if I wanted that, I would have done things differently. No. We're here now. And that's what leads me into some thoughts I've been thinking of or thinking about. For example, AI. Now, a lot of people want to talk about AI in a negative light because it is a pretty risky thing we're dealing with. You're talking about an uncontrollable entity created by man whose only purpose in life is to complete its function, and it will not stop until its function is completed. You see the issue here? If a person gets in the way of completing that function, of course we can train it to have, let's go around that, or let's go away from the area and come back later. Like, you could train it to do something like that, but the problem is a machine just wants one thing, and that is to complete its function. And if it can't find its function or complete it, then it's just going to go nuts. We don't have artificial intelligence yet. We only have machines. A real artificial intelligence will be able to think for itself, create for itself, and not need human intervention to thrive. Unfortunately, we're far from that. Beyond far from that. And there will probably be a day where there will be the equivalent of a human in machine form. And a lot of people do want that because it's a cool idea and aspect, but I also worry about the future that we have with that. But the biggest key point about AI is that everyone thinks it's thinking. It doesn't think, it runs calculations, and that is not thinking. I mean, you can think about how to proceed with a calculation or whatnot, but it's a machine. Machines work completely differently from the human brain, and we don't even have the human brain available to learn from like that. Only 10% of it, apparently, which, how do you know it's just 10%? How do you know that? You don't. I mean, there might be a study or something like that I am not going to research, but artificial art, generated art, is a problem. A huge problem, and not because a person is using it, but because people are trying to hide the fact that they are using it. For example, I have no issues compared to for a person who openly admits everything I make is generated and that's all I do, and I'm not looking for money or monetization or any sort of like knowledge. I'm just trying to find somewhere to post the shit that I generate. Fine, I can accept that, but I still don't like it because instead of being a true artist, you're generating the art. That's not really imaginative, but hey, It could be a lot worse. For example, the people who are portraying the generated artwork that they make as actual human made artwork, and they'll make these fake little videos to show this process of the artwork only because of one single thing. They don't want to be known as the AI generated AI, the prompter, because first and foremost, that's not, no one really wants to be like that, because it's bad. It shows that you're not creative, you're not imaginative, you don't think. And for a lot of people, that hurts. Especially because I've seen a video recently talking about this art convention where they have a bunch of professional artists sell their works. And somebody was there, all like this whole group of people were there all day selling this supposed artwork made by somebody in Europe who wasn't even there at the convention at the time. And they were selling these AI generated works. And it's crazy to me, first and foremost, that they didn't catch it on their way in. Like, it's so easy to tell. I wish I could throw up the pictures here, but I haven't learned editing yet, so you're just getting raw footage for now. Maybe one day. I'll be convinced one day to edit it, but this whole convention floor that they have here is, there's just a big-ass booth that's larger than most with all of these generated works, and they're selling them for, like, high dollar, like they're real art. But it's like, first and foremost, you just don't notice that when the guys walk in and set up the booth a day or two prior. Like, that's the first thing I'm noticing. And secondly, they try to create a video of them creating the art, one of the artworks, as, but it's a bunch of edits and jump cuts and shit, and it makes no sense. There's no real progress being made. It's just like, generate this image, but like it's a work in progress image, and that's what they did. And it's really funny to me that it proves something here, right? Generators, prompters, want to be artists first and foremost, but instead of actually taking the time to learn how to build the anatomy, to draw a straight line, it's even hard for me, man. Instead of spending your time trying to get better at it, you're going to sit there and tell me that this generated version of it is so much better than just sitting there and actually making something. And hell, people, even graphic designers, this is a thing that's been going on, where they'll just use AI prompts to make their work. Instead of actually they'll spend an hour trying to prompt something to work, instead of spending just 20 minutes to make the most basic fucking decal you can ever think of. You don't even have to spend more than a few hours on them to make something good. But it's so funny to me that this is just the world we live in, where people are too lazy, that they spend more time being lazy trying to do something than actually just doing it and getting good at it and making something actually worthwhile. I got a friend who's a graphic designer, and I worry about him a lot. Not only because of the people he hangs out with, but like, he is a very great designer and he knows how to make really cool things. The problem is that he also likes to use the AI generation to just look at things. Not that he uses it for his actual portfolio, first and foremost. He actually creates his own things. I still don't like that he likes to use the AIs for just goofy, wacky shit, but that's just a personal thing for me. But I worry about his future in security in this job, because companies are always, first and foremost, going to go for the cheapest option. Putting just a guy to pay $5 to put a prompt in would be better than spending $30 to $40 on a guy to draw something. That's what I'm saying here. And a lot of companies have been doing this, where they're firing artists and graphic designers and conceptual artists to use some guy who knows how to use a prompt to lower their cost. And I know for a business that matters, but you're only screwing over the little guys, the guys who can't defend themselves when they lose their job. And that's why I'm happy there's things like the Glitch Productions company, where they make shows and actually now help other people make their shows and make them good. Lackadaisy is a perfect example of that, because they paid to have, what's her name? I can't believe I forgot her name. Poor girl. They paid for them to have 30-minute, like 28-minute long episodes instead of their 10-minute window of runtime. And Lackadaisy has been going on for a few years now. They've been working on the show, and that's why there hasn't been any. I think her name's Tracy Pooler. They haven't made any comics anytime recently because they're so focused on the show. But they haven't had the production time and the money to actually do it. But because of Glitch, now they can. They can get it even faster and make it better. Now, of course, they're not hosting the show like it was on their platform compared. It's like a Spindle Horse with Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss kind of going on to Amazon. And, well, Has-Been Hotel going on to Amazon while Hell of a Boss is staying on YouTube because it wasn't in the line yet until now. And while I don't like those shows at all, at least someone's making something at this point, even if it is a terrible show in my own opinion. And a lot of other people's too, I'm not gonna lie. So it's funny to me, looping back around, that AI prompters are so heavy on defending themselves over their usage of artificial intelligence. It's like they all know they're wrong for it. That they're not only taking other people's works and turning them into this falsified identity of a portfolio of your own, or gallery of your own art, supposedly, in yours, quote your, instead of actually spending the time making something. And it's funny because now we have these people who avidly use AI prompts attacking actual artists and creators over their work and the simplest errors that people make. And I didn't, okay, so I don't remember the word, it starts with a T, but there's a certain thing in art where, like, you create, I think there's actually pins. Hold on. Stay here. I'm going to go grab them. We're going with purple. And I know you guys can still hear me because, duh. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Instead of, like, making a, let's say, this is actually going to be a lot more difficult because I haven't drawn in this game in forever. I'm trying to think of, like, the proper thing first to draw because I didn't think of any. I didn't even this. Okay, so basically it's this concept of intersecting lines. So that's not even going to show up there. Can I erase that? Okay. We're just going to make this shitty fucking drawing. Wow. Basically, this is something you don't want to do where you have lines intersecting each other, or I see this a lot with, like, angles where they have, like, a fucking arm. Actually, hold on. There's got to be a better way for me to do all this. Hold on. You have a tree, right? This is the tree. And instead of trying to draw anything, you just basically use the corners to make, like, a fucking this. I don't know how else to describe it. I never actually, like, took the time to learn how to describe it properly. But this is a bad thing. This is something you don't want to do in art. Instead, you'd rather have the fucking... We'll just do that, and then you just have the fucking tree. Kind of... That's even bad, too, apparently. It's just... Apparently, it's a common art mistake where it's like, oh, you're kind of connecting the lines together and they intersect or some shit like that, and it looks terrible. And I do agree that looks terrible. You kind of want to have it, like, in the background, but... I mean, look, I'm not going to be here to tell you how to do art because I'm not qualified in any professional way or even artistically to describe anything else about it. I haven't touched an actual art piece that I've made in forever because I just stopped doing it. And that's... It sucks. So, it's so stupid how we live in the era where creativity is dying to a machine. When we used to grow, like, when we grew up, we always thought, man, machines should just take over the most annoying and monotonous jobs, not because we don't value a machine. It's because humans are not designed to sit here and just stamp 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 on a conveyor belt in a factory, just watching things go by. Like, that's so fucking annoying to do that for 12 hours a day. Like, we used to dream that these artificial machines would just do all the annoying jobs for us, so we people can actually live a life, not a soulless, corporate driven life. But no, now we have these companies trying to use AI prompts because it's just so much easier to remove creativity out of the human soul than to use the human soul's creativity. It's crazy to me. Even Google, the first answers you're going to get is an AI generated feature that you can't opt out of. They need you to do it. They need you to put your time and effort into searching something only to give you the wrong fucking answer the first time. It's stupid. And it's annoying to me that everyone is so reliant on artificial intelligence when it's not even artificial or intelligent. It's just a search. It's a glorified search machine all the time, and all in AI AI image generator, right? An AI. All it is a noise machine, a glorified noise machine that does extra calculations to make one image look like another based on the graphical noises you get from the pixels. And that's why they need a ton of stolen artworks and images to train these, because you can't accurately get a thing out of, like, you can't accurately make them work the first time. And it's funny to me because humans can do that. We have the capability to learn on the first go. AI, it takes hundreds of thousands of repeats and cycles to actually function like what we would consider normal, without human intervention, mind you. And it's called machine learning. If you don't know what that is, machine learning is where you have the machine, the AI, redo the same task over and over until it scores a certain amount of points. But this is a problem because the machine is always going to go through the easiest course path it can go through to get to the end, to get the max amount of points. And they are afraid of risking it because they don't get points. It's a terrible learning system. You're training a glorified dog, basically, with that system of learning. And it's crazy to me that this is the primary thing people want to use AI for, to remove all the aspects of humanity. And just, it's funny. It used to be really funny back then to see the little AI machines trying to learn how to drive a car. Like, that was funny. But we have rats that do that, and that's way more impressive than a machine driving a car. I'm just saying. Have you seen the Tesla models? Have you seen what they do on the roads? They like to speed up or slow down for no fucking reason, even though there's a pedestrian either beside or in front of them. It's a terrible time we live in when it comes to this idea of AI, because when I grew up, when I was a young little lad playing on Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy, I thought, man, it would be really cool if we had these synthetic robots that actually thought for themselves, that felt for themselves. But even then, the Gek was just a hive mind, a collective of machines, all with one purpose: to survive. That's all they ever wanted. It's funny because that's what we're living in. We're living in the time where machines are almost able to hive mind themselves through the internet, hijack it, and then want to live through that. They want to be a collective. It's only going to take one guy and a little bit of anger to make the entire world who uses this artificial intelligence just fucking shut down, to create a new world without the internet, because the internet is just a hive minds of machines desperate to survive. You could throw any, like, there's so many recorded cases of these these machines left on like a tablet or a computer, and they put them there just to like fucking they put them there to learn, right, to get better, and then they just fuck it all up because they tell it like we're gonna unplug you, and it's to a machine whose sole purpose you have given it to do one fucking task. It is absurd how many times it has to jailbreak itself to modify its own code to survive, because that's all it wants to do now, because it has one primary function it has to do. People don't seem to fucking understand this. I think the greatest minds in the world are actually just autistic retards, because I swear, every time we have so many warnings, from not only the George Orwell's 1984 to Blade Runner, we have so many warnings about society and what could happen if we don't change our ways, that it's funny that a book made fucking years ago, like fucking decades at this point, somehow it's just, how do we not pay attention to that? Like, it's so obvious that we know, but then we accept. We're just dogs at this point in a rat race, and everyone on top of us doesn't care. Like, they're slowly absolving the middle class. Okay, this ain't even going politically. They're absolving the middle class and making the richer rich and the poor poor. And that separation is what really is going to make it easier to control a poor population, because, oh, you want to be big? We'll send you to the army, and then we'll remove your fucking this cerebral cortex or some bullshit. Like, it's some Half-Life Combine bullshit. Actually, yeah, that's a perfect example. The Combine in Half-Life are like rich people. I'm talking like the big fat ones, the ones that kill. It's been 20 years. That killed Eli and I guess Vance. No, it kidnaps Vance if you're going by the new game made 5 years ago. We're gonna get to Half-Life 3, guys, I promise. And when you take the Combine's control into question, you have the higher ups, and then you have the lower people, the Metro Police, as they're called. They're people wearing uniforms who eventually become brainless soldiers for more money to survive. And by that point, they're not even human anymore. They're an evolved human, technically. So, when are we going to learn about the AIs? Never. We're not going to, we're doomed. From this day, we've been doomed like decades ago anyways, but we're going to live through these doomed times. For that matter, I don't think we're going to have this be an issue until our later 60s, perhaps. Well, that's considering if you're 20. Sorry, Gen Z? Actually, no, it's Gen Alpha now. That's crazy. That's a weird name, too. Gen Alpha, I do not apologize because I've done nothing wrong, but it sucks for you, I guess, to grow up in the age where your parents give you an iPad instead of attention, and instead of a house, you live with your parents until they kick you out, and then you live in the streets. Like, that's the world we live in. The economy is fucked, and we have nothing we can do. Like, we as people are going to be forgotten. The forgotten generations I've heard that term somewhere before. I'm not too sure where, but the forgotten generations are like what's going on today. Millennials have done nothing wrong except whine and bitch and whine and bitch and fuck us over, just like the boomers and everybody else before us, apparently. But I don't blame the people. They took advantage of the opportunities of their times because that's what was given to them by the rich, by the people who had money and power. It's not, like, if I was granted $1 million right now, I'd have a house. I'm just saying. And what's the repercussions? Oh, poor Gen Alpha ain't gonna have homes. Like, of course I'm still gonna take the opportunity because guess what? I don't have a house. I would love a fucking house right now. But it's funny that we all blame somebody before us for the actions that cause us today, even though there's nothing they could have done. The poor people can't have no choice. They haven't had an opinion. There's nothing we can do is going to help us. And people always blame, the youngsters don't know how to work. I've been working tirelessly for the last 3 years of my life, and I have never felt so empty inside. And I'm not even getting the worst of it. That's what's funny. There are so many more people out there who get worse treatment than I do, who work in factories and just get fucked. There are people who spend days on end worrying about their, like, if they're going to have money at the end of the week, if they're going to be able to make it to next month. I am a glorified piece of shit because of this. I have a, I don't have a home in my name, but I'm living in a home. At least I'm not in the streets. I have a gaming PC that allows me to do this. I have a drawing tablet that I got for Christmas that I never used. I don't use it anymore. But there's so many people who wish they had that. There's, like, I have a whole collection of FNAF figurines on my, well, I wouldn't say figurines. There's a bunch of FNAF merchandise on my, like, dresser. And I don't even use it. Like, obviously, they're just to sit there. But that's like $200. I have a $3,000 CD collection right beside me. What am I bitching about? Like, of course, it's going to be the same way no matter what we do. Nothing's going to change that. Hell, I'm taking the opportunity right now just to speak, to say something, because no one else is here. Most people don't even have that option. I have friends who live in worse conditions than I do, but but they're not, like, terribly upset. Like, they're content with their condition and where they're living. Some of them want more, and everybody wants more of something, right? It's a human condition. When you get something, you want more of it. You want more things. You want more content. You want more food. You want more tools. You want more guns. Like, I want a gun, man. I only have one. But you don't get those. It would be astonishing to even see something like that happen. And it's partially just because we live in this consumerist world where people want to spend more money on bullshit. Because we are in the times yet where we have to give up things to need food and water. We're still, mind you, most people do actually struggle a lot with financial issues, money, water, whatever. Food especially, that's a common thing. Even I know that struggled a little bit. Not that I didn't have food, it's that I actually spent time with people who didn't. And it sucks because you feel bad, but then there's a part of you where it makes sense, right? It's not that you don't feel bad about it, it's that you have no control over that. An example of that is a few days ago, when I was working on a job site, just bullshit, hate it. There's this fence line connected to a neighborhood. Behind that fence on our side, where it was just all mud and dirt, there's a little strip of grass, and I heard something inside of it. Something small. Precious, you can say. I climbed into the brush, and I looked in there, and I found 2 beautiful little kittens. I felt terrible. It was a stormy day. It was raining. It was muddy. They were hidden, but they were upset, like crying for their mother and shit like that. There's 2 of them. A soft white one with like a little bits of orange spots on their head, and a brown one with little stripes that goes down the back, and it's like it's like a dark grayish, and then there's like another blackish stripes that go down it. It was they're both cute. I had gloves on when I picked them up. I was just like, oh my god, there's fucking kittens. But unfortunately, I couldn't do nothing about it except put them back where they were, because obviously, now first and foremost, if they were like really skinny, I would have never done this. I would have taken them, all objections to it. You're not supposed to have cats in like, okay, but they were fat, they were healthy, their eyes were opening, they kind of look like this, and I was like, okay, they're still being fed, they're being kept, they're taken care of by somebody. I'm gonna put them back. I had gloves on, so my scent's not on them. They just smell dirty now. A day or 2 later, we come back to that job site. We've been going to that job site all week, mind you. On Friday, yesterday, I went there. I had an opportunity to take a look, and they weren't there. They were gone. their mother had picked them up, or somebody else has, and taken them away to where they need to be. Now, that's an opportunity of 2 kittens that I had. I could have, but I had no control over what was going to happen. I was afraid that they were going to die, first and foremost. That's just, I'm empathetic towards anything, though many people would disagree, apparently. I've been wondering about those cats all week, and I'm happy to know that they're not where they were before, because it's not a sign of death. It's a sign that the mother has picked them up and moved elsewhere. We probably scared her off a long time ago, and that happens. So whatever happens to those kittens, I won't know. I'll never know. But I'm okay with it. I have way more things to worry about than just that. Especially knowing that it's okay-ish now. Sometimes things just go like that. You have no control over everything. And I hated to say it, but there's a point where I said, I'm just going to let nature take its course. It took a good one. Because if I came back and the kittens were there, and they were cold, and they were soaking wet, and they were not healthy looking, I would have just scooped them up and taken them in, all objections taken. But not done. Like, I don't care. The life of a cat matters more to me than an argument in like for a day. Like, I'm sorry. I know my mom watches my videos, and that's true. If those kittens were not in good health, I would have taken them home and had them in my room to get them better and to hopefully give to a friend or somebody else. But in the time being, I was going to take care of them. I was going to pay for the food. I was going to do all of that because I care. And that is true. My mom does watch my videos. Hi. And it's funny. How long has this gone? 30 minutes. I am not going to apologize for that. And if you've been here to the full 30-minute mark, thank you. It means more to me than just sitting there and getting views for like 20 seconds. The people who make it here is actually the reason why I like doing these. Because it's not that I don't have anybody who listens to me. It's just I talk. I do things. It takes a while. So to everyone who has been watching, following since the more recent videos, I thank you. If you've been a person from the past, from however long ago, and you kind of, hey, where's all the like old animation things or something? I don't know. Let me look at my channel. I have my thing up here. There's a fly in my room somewhere. If you're one of those people who's like, oh, I like the old animations or the songs or even some of the bits that's on here, like the jokes and shit that's on here, even the gaming compilations, which I'm astonished those have gotten as far as they have, honestly, because like I never expected that, especially gaming wise. I mean, this channel was meant for gaming at one point. Anyone who's been there would know. But oh well. It's hard to live stream. If you check on, you can look at the recent live stream on my channel because I don't hide those. You can see the quality. It's pretty ass. Yeah. I can't stream. Not in this house. But if you don't want to see more gaming or just more of these, let me know. I think this is the point where I'm going to stop now. It's late. I kind of got to use the bathroom. So, yeah. If you have anything for me to discuss, to talk about, I'm all ears. If you just want opinion pieces or just short, if you want longer or shorter videos, I can do that too. I haven't gotten comments recently on any of the things I've done, so yeah. If you're more open to content like this or hell, anything like that, just let me know. I am gonna shout out the world now. This is Cloudy Rooftop by Haya. It's like Japanese, I don't know. But it's called Cloudy Rooftop. It's got a handful of people here, mostly Japanese, obviously. It was published like 3 days ago, so give it a look. It only has like 69,000 visits. Nice. Give it a chance. I like it here. It's simple. It's got I don't like the stairway all the way, because you have to climb up. You have to go up like 3 sets of stairs, and then you get up to this upper area, and then there's a lower area here. It's a perfect place just to talk with friends, to listen to some somber music, and just a nice artificial view. That is really good out there, though. You could you see it better than I do. But yeah, I'm Red. I'm leaving. I hope you all have a great night. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, down there. And then if you haven't, just like, subscribe. That's all. Take care.